Okay. So I wasn't sure when I was going to roll live next. And so, not that I haven't been doing this, but I was scrolling through lives. It's always interesting the things or things, people is what I really mean, that you come across. But as a collective, live streams things. That's what I think what I was trying to say there. um, and I I wanted to come and talk for a bit. And I do think that lots of people are curious by nature, impulse. It's just who they are, and I am one of them. And so I think that the person who I'm thinking about at the moment um, is likely or potentially might be one as well, who, even though he's rolling right now, live streaming, he might decide to. Although I've never noticed in chat, even of my own videos, how to do it via a cell phone. But different cell phones might be different, or maybe you know somebody with a computer, goes to the library, or whatever. And I just wanted to, you know, it's things that are easier expressed verbally, I think, than um, it is something that could easily be. Um, sorry, got distracted. Let me kind of recalibrate again what I'm trying to say. Oh, right. Or just that this person might see it, or somebody else who relates to it. Like it's not just about this person, but whose name I don't actually know anyway, and I probably shouldn't say it anyway. I know what he goes by on YouTube. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep this playing in my headphones while I talk. And if there's anything, just for, I think this guy knows his musical ability and his talent, his worth as a person, but and is putting that out there. But I think just going to do it this way. Well, actually, I'm just going to show you a bit of his music. You won't necessarily know who it is. I think his sound is unique, but I think it's also kind of similar to some other musicians. And I just want people to hear this out, including perhaps this individual. Which probably doesn't have a lot of good services, but a lot of places don't. I just want you to hear the music a little bit, not identifying the person, but I just want you to listen to this for a moment, especially the singing. But now some of it may be a little too screechy or whatever for some people, but when he's not doing that, he's also really good. I think you can get just from that, you can get a sense. I noticed that he was just wrapping up, and I just want to listen quickly to see if there's anything else he said at the end of it. But he definitely, I'm really glad he understood me more than his mod did. His mod seemed to be speaking from a place of pain as well, and I'm not judging that. It's understandable sometimes. But like, he didn't have a problem with me asking this guy if he was homeless because he was playing guitar in his car. But when I continue to show empathy and say that there's hope, which I understand is very, very hard to feel sometimes, he felt this guy. Well, the one guy didn't. The guy whose video it was didn't want to talk about it. Didn't want to feel like he had to focus on what he's dealing with. He said he knows that he's going through stuff, and it's his to deal with. It sounds like he either doesn't let people help or they offer to help and don't follow through, which is hard. Be right back. But and then there is a certain lyric in this song, but I don't want people to think I'm on a phone call. That's why I wear this thing, because it's easier just to take it off and not that's what it's hard to take off, but when I'm playing music, it's especially easier. But what I will say is that even though he seemed a little like he was speaking through the songs he was choosing, whether they were covers or originals, yes. And I think that that's a good thing, mostly. But I think it's pretty much right. I can tell that he wants to understand people, not just be understood, that he wants to make them feel good with music and just his presence. So he knows he has it. That's what I feel, and lots of us might relate to that if we really think about it for a moment. And I know, I mean, I I can understand that it can be hard. I can. That was kind of an odd little salute out of the video, and I hope it doesn't mean what I think it could mean. I mean, I know what I think it means, and it could mean it. But and I saw another one of my friends. She rolls for a lot of times, and then she like put the photo up for an hour. It's silly for it gone that long, and it's just a photo. But really love her energy. In fact, I wandered away from her. I really should look back. I should look at her soon. But if this individual sees this video, whether live or afterwards, um, and decides to come check out the channel or subscribe, or just happens to be showing it, I don't want it to be too long because I am a little bit distracted, and I just don't want it to be too long. But he had said something about how he was finishing up. He put his guitar away, and I was really thinking he was just going to wrap up, and he pretty much did. But he did. He did sit there and read for a moment, thank everybody, and say homelessness sucks. And I mean, great to be thankful and appreciative. Great to realize the truth that it does, you know. Um, um, so, I mean, what's will be rolling for a while, and it's a Monday, and he's not going to be home for actually another about an hour, or leaving in about an hour. So I got a good amount of time. So, um, I'm not going to say that it always helps. Just a moment. Check that out. But that it always helps. But sometimes knowing somebody else's story can be very helpful, and then knowing yours. And you know what? I will also add to that. With nobody watching right now, I'm going to add to it anyway. Um, that you may think that you don't have. See, it's still playing, even though it's wrapped up. So since it is, I kind of want that. But at the same time, well, I'd have to do it on here. I guess I could, maybe. But I don't think the chat's going to show that quickly after anyway. If he even has it set to do so. And I have a bunch of windows open, but I'm not sure which one I'd do it in either, to be honest. How we make others feel says a lot about themselves, says a lot about us, which is not supposed to sound selfish. That quote is open in this one, and this might be where I do it. It's true. It's not necessarily supposed to be about what does it say about us, but in the process of how we make others feel, it can say that too. Of course, London. The more people I'm following, the more people there is to keep up with, which is great. I mean, I'm still kind of behind on the other ones, to be honest. So I don't know how I'm going to decide. But let me just. I did make it with a color shirt, so maybe that's how. I was kidding. um, I mean, I can hear what she says afterwards. Oh, that's interesting. It's an interesting title. Interesting title to his video that I didn't see while scrolling. I don't know if it's a phrase. I'm not really sure. I'm certainly curious. And chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. I have anemia, and I just feel the need to use it. I open it, and it's spinning. And now it's kind of stuck between playing and pausing. So I'm not too sure what that's about. But is there anything else that I feel like I might want to say on this topic? Well, again, and I'm doing this anonymously, and I'm doing this kind of hoping this person might see it, but also just anybody else that will relate. I just felt like doing it in a video format. Although he was understanding what I was saying, I feel like mostly. I feel like doing this in a video format. Why is it showing me? I don't know. Oh, I've never seen him with an electric. Okay, sorry. Is a great way to come across with what's on the mind. Especially when I'm not distracted and say it well. So I'm trying. I want to take a moment actually to, speak on this. And again, not judging and at times relating, and I really didn't know when I was going to put live stream again. I mean, I was meaning to watch sometimes, but it can be very lovely. And again, certainly appreciate the community, and we can all make a great community and be part of other people's, and it's a lovely thing. Um, this keeps coming to my mind, so I'm gonna try and express it. Um, yeah, so he had his hat covering his eyes. When I asked if I could see his eyes for a moment, he didn't say, "Nah, I'm not gonna show you. Nah, nah, you don't want to see," or anything like that. He showed me. I mean, there are women would say, "I'm bi." I am, and not only is he musically talented, and I can tell that he's got a good, um, he's a good soul. He is attractive, and the other thing is that, um, what's the other thing? Um, I could be wrong, and I mean, I'm not meaning to make a presumption or a stereotype that if all homeless people have addiction problems or drug or whatever. Uh, some people may look at this individual and think he does. I'm not one of them. Whether he does, whether he doesn't, whether anybody does or doesn't, people deserve love, they deserve respect, and they deserve to be cared about, and they deserve to have somebody um, that gives them those. Really is, but I mean, it's pretty simple stuff, right? Um, and so, um, okay, now it's playing properly, but I don't think it would play. I don't think I should either. Um, I told him I was going to subscribe. I don't know if I did. And then and usually those not. Anyway, okay. So yeah, I suppose also that his mod was just trying to protect him and not I suppose when you deliver empathy in a certain way, it can come across as prying or trying to, and it is the internet, it's true. But at the same time, I do believe that even men that are especially going through hard times, the importance of opening up about that. I don't like to gender things really, but I know that, I don't know about younger. It doesn't seem like it's as much of a younger generation thing, where men or male identifying keep their feelings in, but and I mean, sure, we can try and open up and find support from people, but he's my guy. You watch it, but sometimes it doesn't work out, and that can be very hard. Um, well, there's nobody here. I'm just going to listen to this a bit more. That's actually where my comment came in. There's a lot to imperfections, which I don't know if I missed something, but if he was saying that I was calling his deep raspy voice when he was singing an imperfection, he misunderstood that. He makes a point in here about how he feels, and I don't know if he's been in Canada or just knows people or hears things or whatever, but he makes a point in saying that Canada is better than America. Well, I'm not great at geography, but I do believe it's North America. But I know what he means. And definitely the States is a hard place for a lot of people to live in, even though they may have lived there all their lives and, are proud Americans. And this isn't meant to be political. but I could tell you that a certain ginger that I'm sure you can guess who I'm talking about, especially considering I'm talking about the States. A certain ginger does not make and lots of people are talking about Trump. Lots on both sides of the. Doesn't make it necessarily easier. Hello? Hello? Just a moment. It's really fast ring. We had a call from Canada Post saying something about a delivery. We bought stuff online recently, and two things did not come with a regular order. They're coming, but they're not coming from Canada Post. I don't believe we have another one, although it's this season, I suppose, but I'm pretty sure we don't. And I kind of missed what it said, and then when it said press 1 to talk to somebody, and when I did that, it just ring, 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 quite rapidly actually, and never seemed to be going through to anybody. So let me just check. Do we have? I mean, it sounds like it's something that didn't get delivered, but let me just check. Yeah, the sun might mostly be set by the time she gets home, and I should have been out with the dog, but I'm doing this not kind of the usual time that he would go out, and yeah, I'm just busy. And then I want to watch a couple more streams as well after this, and yeah. So anyway, basically, when we are in a hard place in our life, it can be easy to feel that the world's against us, I guess is the way to put it. And although, unfortunately, sometimes that might be true, and I think that those individuals need to take a good look at the way they are and consider changing for the better for themselves and for everybody. Um, it's not entirely true. One thing I do remember saying to this individual, and now here, and it was interesting to write this. Just as it would have been interesting to verbalize it, because even though I may have thought things like this before, easy seems calm. It doesn't feel really intense, but who knows about that? But anyway, what I said was that you never know who can help you, or you never, and essentially that might change your life for the better. Um, you know, I would hope that he might come and join me because show a bit of support back to my channel. That's not what I was after, but it's always nice, right? Um, you know, um, so, but yeah, but I think we need to realize too that not everybody is out to be that way to us. Not everybody is out to judge us. I was mentioning the other day about a couple of homeless people that I'd been in the vicinity of one of them actually reminded me of this guy, but he's not in the same city or even country. Because yeah, states is not country. Anyway, and I'll just say this: I felt so bad. I really did. That I because I know it's not the type. Yeah, I just one of them was being a bit more vocal, asking people that came out of the store. The other one really wasn't. Um, in fact, like I said, I noticed that he sat on the cardboard sign. I don't. I guess like I'm go, but it's actually not compared to for this time of year. I don't know if he just didn't want to hold it, was embarrassed. Say he seemed like he might have been newly homeless. I mean, a lot of homeless people do sit kind of near that place. Um, um, I could not imagine, and I hope to never have to even experience what your first becoming homeless feels like. Um, but yeah, I think it's just important to realize. I think this guy mostly does that. Um, it's hard to face our struggles. It's hard to open up sometimes, um, but there are good people out there, and I think that we also do our best to be such. It makes others feel good, and it should make yourself feel good. And if you don't feel great, it might make you feel better. And we come in contact with people and and discover people sometimes because it's meant to be, you know, in one way or another. He was mentioning it was just about to play an original song, but then it looks like you went to look at the comments, and then somebody tuned in here, and it just okay. What's interesting is pretty much from where I stopped talking there to I'll let you know when he kept his he touched his hat just now, but he kept his eyes visible. It's just a toque, just a regular toque. Just want to talk about a couple of lyrics. I don't care too much, two numbers. Maybe it's like, oh, it's about self hatred. Okay, I did hear him during this song, and I actually thought at one point it might have been original. I think there is power and strength in being strong, pretending that you're strong and you're not, and also being independent. But I think there's also power in being honest, open, transparent, and yeah, the opposite stuff. Actually, Monday, there would been something where the guy said something in there for the end of dogs. His name was Alan. Maybe this year, but wouldn't want to be seen fair. He knows his worth, and that makes me happy. But he mostly does. But life has not been kind to him. That makes me sad. Not his fault, even though it's his situation, but it's how I process these kind of things. I don't even think it was, I mean, birthday, I mean, yeah, I like long hair. I don't even think it was his look or style at first. I think just as soon as I clicked in, he started singing. It was like, whoa, that voice. I mean, it's a little bit similar to mine when I sing some things. Didn't you just do that one? When we struggle to see our worth, when others don't tell us that they do, it can be very hard place to be. It's something to good video to find. I would love to be in a band with this guy, to be honest. Fortunately, I don't live in Oklahoma. He doesn't live in Canada. Neither of us really has the means to travel. So, but I think he'd do well in a band. I think he'd do well modeling and being a motivational speaker if he let himself be. And a lot of people probably would, but um, he said something about how you can't help somebody that's that far gone. Um, I think he was just saying that that nobody has offered help before. Um, let me quote that right. I mean, right now, because live chat isn't showing it because he just posted it, I'm not seeing what I said or what anybody else said. I mean, there was a whole lot of people saying something. I mean, I remember being a bit standoffish, and he was being pretty good, best as he could be to kind of be there in the conversation. Can't find solutions for someone that's so far away. So did I speak about it? Figures he can figure it out and do it on his own. No one else has offered help before. So I don't know how long he's been struggling for, but if it's been a while, then I would say he can't completely figure it out and do it on his own. And if it hasn't been a while, I would say he still shouldn't have to. So, there. I'm very thankful for this, even though it's not a lot, and it just helps me survive. I'm very thankful to have gotten that today. A beautiful soul with love for fellow humans, always a good way to be. For sure. For sure. Um, good to see that, for sure. I thought there was somebody here for a moment, but I'm not sure if it's who said that or not. But um, but I do want to touch on one more thing before I wrap up, or at least this, so I don't want to forget it. It's very interesting. I can't remember who I was talking to, where it was, somewhere online, I think, in this topic of empathy versus sympathy. And it was like, I don't know what's the difference. They both seem very similar. Sympathy is, of course, maybe a bit more tied to grief. Um, Especially your friend I haven't heard from in ages. And even though is about a specific person, it could be about a lot of people, honestly, that are struggling. Hopefully, getting this over my chest, I'll be able to kind of rest a bit later. I think I will. Imagine. from his nightmare and make his game come true. He deserves it. I don't know if that's even me or anything. It's kind of lighted. Actually, doesn't sound as much as that. This was very interesting, though. So I think there was only about two or three other people in this guy's chat at the time, aside from myself. And lights on this room. It has kind of got up. I really should have got it. Sorry, today. Kept meaning to. I took mail a few times, but yeah, I really should have because now it's not terrible. It's not that windy, but the sun's burning. Anywho, one thing that I think that people that are struggling and people in general would be good to realize is that it's actually quite a lot of okay, but it's further up. Is that sympathy can also be possibly seen as pitying someone. I don't. Part of me doesn't see how that's a bad thing. Like, part of me thinks, if you're feeling bad for somebody's situation, you're feeling empathy. That's not the same as saying, and you deserve to be there. You deserve to be having those struggles. It's not saying that. So I don't really get the difference, but I do kind of. There was a musician that I discovered ages ago. I don't know if I could try and play the song. It's been a long time since I've heard it. Basically, you can't know what's in someone else's heart. What's easy for you might for them be very hard. Even though I know that I barely crossed the start, I know I've come so far. You may think I got no ambition, but I'm not. It's not what it seems. Life in which you are content is the life in which I dream. Sometimes it's hard to be a person. Sometimes it's hard to be alive. So if you got out of bed, if your friend got out of bed, give your friend a high five. But I mean, we all, I think, can relate to the complexities and difficulties of being human. I mean, really. I mean, some of us more than others, but I think at one point in time we were all, not everything, but most things that one person experiences, we will experience too. Not everything, and that's good, and that's fine, and that's meant to be. But there are some things that are just innately human, and there are some things that, you know, obvious things. Like really, like um, things happening in relationships of any kind, really. Things happening financially, things happening in our family, death, loss of a job, things that bring homelessness. I mean, seriously, and so there shouldn't be there shouldn't be awkward feelings. There should just be understanding. And it's interesting because I think he was referring to something I said because of the way his mod took it, and he used this phrase, which I mean, it's kind of hard to see it as a bad necessarily, but it was kind of dickish. And then um, I had mentioned something about empathy and how that's what I was trying to give. And he goes, "Yeah, empathy." And then he was playing just the guitar and reading and thinking. And I'm really thankful that he wanted to. He saw my care. He wanted to understand what I was saying. He wanted to be kind, and so yeah. He says he's happy as long as he has his guitar. As a musician, I get that. When you're not reaching your goals, it can be hard to still want to do it sometimes. I mean, everything sometimes. But no, I get right man the music and using music as your strength, and that's really what it is, I think, in a large way. But I don't think he is happy. He might be happier than the situation he came in prior to being homeless, but I really don't think that he's where he wants to be in his life right now. And a lot of us can relate to that, right? Like, I just had an interesting thing though come to mind. I think I'm feeling it because a lot of the songs he is playing, I remember from my high school days. But I'm almost wondering if this guy, because I'm Canadian, but I have had people from school, and school keeps coming up. I have had people from my school days moving to the States. Maybe not recently, but it's just really interesting how he took my words better. But then the other guy said that I read it, so he didn't even really understand me entirely either. So, or try to, in writing. So whatever. So I think he just does that song and then wraps up. That's what I think he's doing. If I could think of a song to do and then wrap up, maybe I would. So actually, he showed his. I mean, he looks a lot like him. The more I'm looking at him for a moment here, it didn't have his um, hair long back then. Kinda, but not that long. Just a moment. Doesn't seem to be as much of an issue like mine anymore, though. Like other people's. But wait, never noticed. Um, People know when you hide, but today, yeah. I mean, I was doing, I guess, what the role was, and I guess he trusted my judgment. My friend. So that was good. What? Somebody would say that to him? Like, yes. I like the response, though. Sorry. It's not the worst thing to say to anybody either. Not that that should make us, but. Get rid of it. I want to go first. I am pretty pretty. Guys can be pretty. Girls can be pretty. Either can be ugly. And toss it what's in here. Anywho, I don't want to keep this too much longer, both in case this person sees it, it's already gotten kind of long, and in case, well, anybody else wants to watch, I don't want it to be too long, just in case they don't like long videos too much. And my friend, although she had to plug in into it, so, but yeah, it's all said right here. Nice that he's doing Nickelback. Nice. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up, I think, now. Take care, buddy. Much love.